Hello, happy Tuesday. It's been a few weeks, I think. So much has happened. I mean, I guess. Kind of so much has happened and also nothing has happened. Anyways, there's been some workflow adjustments to the project. After I don't know how many times of having problems with rendering shots and just things breaking and not rendering correctly and stuff, I finally thought, well, why can't I just try rendering these shots in Blender 3.5, which is the new version that just came out. I have to keep working in 3.3, which is the long-term support. Because if, you know, they're not backwards compatible. So if I update and then it breaks something critical in my pipeline, like the character rigs or something, and I save over my assets, then it's a huge problem. So anyway, and this is typical studio stuff too. If you are working on a movie or something, they'll usually lock the version of Maya or whatever they're using at the beginning of the production. So by the end of the production, they're using a version of Maya that's like 2 or 3 years old. But you gotta, because you know it's so easy for something to break with a new release that will hose the whole thing. So I've been on Blender 3.3 for over a year now, or since whenever it came out basically, and tons of problems. So I thought, well, I could at least try rendering them in Blender 3.5, see if it renders any better. And lo and behold, it actually works. So I've kind of come up with a new workflow for rendering in Blender 3.5, and it's been working out really well. And the other thing that really helped is I stumbled upon this great tutorial by Samuel Krug, or Krug. Sorry if I'm saying that name wrong. About how to build a custom cloud shader. I think these are reference photos here, but how to build a custom cloud shader that renders so much faster than the typical principled volume in Blender, and less noisy, looks more like a real cloud. So this was like a huge win. And it's adjustable. He's messing with the shader settings and stuff. So anyways, between rendering in 3.5 and taking advantage of the new improvements like the light tree, etc., and also using this new cloud shader that just looks better and renders faster, this has solved a ton of problems. And that's what I've been working on the last couple weeks, 3 weeks while I've been away. Also, I did like a freelance job for like 4 or 5 days. So that's where I've been and what I've been up to for anyone that's been interested. But the good news is I have not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 new finished shots since the last stream. And as I was alluding to, it took forever to get them rendered right, but I finally got it all working and I'm really happy with how they turned out. So this includes the first shot in the episode, the kind of establishing shot where we see the ship flying through frame. And yeah, so I used that cloud shader on the ship cloud and also these clouds back here. And these clouds here. So this whole segment is rendered now, which is really nice to have done. This shot I have to re-render because I was experimenting with how like low I could push the samples with the new light tree thing, and it's too noisy. You can see like these ferns over here, they're really chattery. So I'm gonna re-render that one tonight with a higher sample rate. But I'm calling this one done for the sake of the video. So actually that's 5 new shots because I also finally finished lighting and comping this one, which was the big reveal of Zinda finally got that looking the way I wanted. And then I think I had to re-render it like 3 times to get it to render right on top of that. So it's been like 2 or 3 weeks of just like rendering craziness. But I've kind of got it all dialed in now, and I only have this shot left to render, and then this whole entire section, which is the whole first minute and 10 seconds of the episode, will be completely done. And when you combine that with the last minute being completely done, and this is all mostly animated, just isn't rendered yet, then there's just this section left, which is mostly talking. And it's gonna be quicker to do, knock on wood. And so we're getting closer. And I thought today I would work on lighting and comping this shot, so hopefully I can render it overnight tonight, and this time tomorrow I'll have this whole entire section done, this whole part of the episode, which will be wonderful. So that's what I'm gonna do today. Yeah, and the last thing I'll do before getting into it is move the little thingy, the little progress bar forward 5 spots. So I think that's 3. I'm gonna call that 5, because each of these is 10. Bloop. All right. Finally moving that thing forward. So yeah, the other thing I did while I was away was kind of have like a real come to Jesus with the, as they say, with the pace at which this is all going. And you know, when I first was kind of planning this episode out, I kind of thought, oh, I'll be able to do easy shots in like half a day or a day at the most. And that's including everything: animation, comp, lighting, rendering. But that was completely unrealistic. Turns out even the easy ones are taking at least 2 days, maybe 3. And the more complicated ones, like this one, this, I think all told, this is probably like 6 days to get this shot done. So, and I thought originally the longest ones were gonna take like 2. So obviously this is moving way slower. I was thinking maybe I would have this episode done a few months ago, and based on how many shots have yet to be started, which is about 20 or so, you know, that's roughly 60 days of work if you just do the math like that. These I'm still hoping will go a little faster because they're just really simple character talking, background. So those might actually go as quick as I originally expected, maybe a day or less. Because these are basically all already lit too. I made an HDRI and kind of showed that at the beginning of the previous stream if you're interested to see. So that'll be used. So basically environment and lighting is already done for these shots. Just have to do the mocap face and have them kind of moving around, and then they'll be ready to go. But yeah, like it could be up to like another 60 days of work to finish this episode, which is crazy. It's like so much longer than I originally planned on this taking, like by a factor of like 5. But I'm still going, and I'm still excited to finish it. I'm still excited for the whole series in general, and it's just going to take a while. But I believe in it. So here we go. So today I'm in Blender 3.5, and I did the animation in 3.3. Everything was set up in 3.3. All the assets still come from 3.3, but the lighting and comp are now being done in 3.5, and it seems to be working okay. Let me turn these things off. Just to make sure I'm not rendering anything I don't need to be rendering in this shot. So in this shot, this is the shot that immediately follows this one. They come and they kind of crash land on the grass. They tumble forward. They're laughing. They're not hurt, but their boards are broken. And Andy's saying, "Oh no, we need new boards." And Amp says, "Hey, can we go land and get some new stuff for some new boards?" And one thing I'd like to do, if I can do it quickly and easily, is set up like some grass bits, kind of flying out from underneath them when they land. I feel like that'll help. If I can get it done in like less than an hour, I will add that in. And otherwise I'll just keep going forward. But it should be pretty straightforward. And then yeah, I'll just get into lighting and comp from there. So I'm just gonna real quick make a grass blade. I'm just gonna do some particle-based stuff. And this needs to be like 0.01 or something. I think 0.01 is a centimeter, so a centimeter long is probably good. Let's make it thinner though. Like that. It's about the right size probably. I'm just gonna pull a few points just to bend it a little bit. Okay. There's our little grass blade. Actually, yeah, I guess I could. Yeah. Kai, hello, Kai. Hello, hello. Good to see you again. Just, that was it. That was all the modeling. I'm just making a little fragment of a grass blade so that I can have some like grass happening when they land here. Guess I'll use that shader. How have you been? How's your eyes? Hope you're feeling better. Oh, good. All better now. Ooh, we can now officially stream. Have you done it yet? Oh, cool. 3 to 4 days ago. Was that your first one? Cool. Well, I'm glad you had fun. If I see on here, if I'm on here when you're streaming, I'll stop in. There we go. I got this add-on that's like some particle presets because I didn't want to be bothered to take the time to set up particle systems because this whole Blender particle system is about to be retired anyway. So I'm going to save this. I guess I'll save up before I import it. Probably going to stream tonight. Oh, cool. You doing art streams? Or are you doing games or what? Probably are, but I'm such a messy painter. Messy, huh? Like, messy digital painting? Or do you paint with real paints and make like a real physical mess? Digital. Kind of stuff do you like to paint? Okay, so there's our little particle system. So I'll just adapt it a bit to He's dead now. I like doing Pokemon, drawing girls. Cool. The effects, yeah, this is just like a preset spark particle. They're not dead now, to answer your question. They just crashed on some soft grass. They're totally fine. Plot twist. This is actually very dark. Okay, so I need to change out the collision thing for the ship. Move the emitters somewhere else too. So I guess I can get rid of this. Yeah, so instead of sparks, obviously we're going to use the grass blade thing. It's like okay, so I have to have it in a collection. So I should not have deleted that collection. Okay, let's see if this works. Nope. Okay, so that's in there. Oh. I still don't think it's working. Does each marker mean a scene is finished? You mean like at the little bar at the bottom? Because yes, this down here, the red one, yeah, I actually just moved it forward 5 spots at the beginning of this stream because I got a bunch of shots rendered and finished when I was away for the last few weeks. So, yay. And yeah, it's like, it's so much slower than I planned it being, so. You know, that was part of me figuring out things. It's weird. It's just not, it's not colliding. I guess it doesn't really matter, actually, because there's going to be grass anyway. I guess if we just see it like pop up, then that's good enough. Yeah, screw it. I'm not going to worry about collision. But yeah, I can show you the, showed at the beginning of the stream, but I got, so this is the shot I'm getting lighting and comp ready for today. And then this whole section will be done because I got the opening shot of the ship flying by and the one after that. And then the shot of the ship getting blown up by the wind, and this one has to get re-rendered tonight because there were some glitches. But yeah, it's coming together. So they come in and they go kaboom. Oh, thank you. The colors and the shot composition. Yes. The colors, I wanted to have lots of bright colors. Oh, and then this one. I think you might have been here when I was lighting and comping this one. I finally got this one rendered, which took like 6 days to get it right. But I finally got it. So, yeah. It's coming together. And that is most of the most complicated shots. There's a couple more complicated ones left, but we're getting close to done with all the complex ones. Well, thank you. I'm glad you like it. Here we go. Under his collection. There we go. Display is rendered. Okay. Oh. Something weird's going on. They're like flying backwards. Oh, I know what it is. It's because I deleted that forces collection, and there's a wind force in the scene that's for the flag. So I need to set this. There we go. Okay. There we go. Something simple like that. So I'll just like put a few more of them in there. And I wonder if we can randomize the velocity a little bit so they're not all kind of moving so much. Yeah, there we go. I think that'll do a lot of damage for the little cutie. You think they would get hurt? Yeah, maybe, I guess. I mean, I figure they're cartoon characters. They're magical creatures. Like, if they want to, they can just, like, jump off a building and land. It's not really a problem. I think, but I do see what you're saying. Like, I think what I've done is I've, like, set a precedent by putting them... This is something I realized the last few weeks while I've been away, like, because I created this, like, realistic environment to put them in, which actually wasn't really something I did that intentionally. I more just did it because that's like what most of the pre-existing assets are. Like if I had done a stylized world, I would have had to make everything myself. and that would just have been, you know, we still wouldn't have even started the episode yet at this point if I had to do that. So I just decided early on, I'm just going to use existing assets, you know, like trees and rocks and stuff that are just stuff I can find online. And the side effect I think I'm learning is that, okay, so now they're like in this real world. Everything is real except them. So I can see how it kind of creates this disconnect of like, well, won't they get hurt then? Aren't they subject to the typical like laws of, you know, whatever, physics and biology and blah, blah, blah. So it's a good point. It's a good point. I totally see what you're saying. And so my thinking is that, like, you know, if we keep going down this road, which hopefully we will, I get some help, and, you know, there's just generally more resources overall, I would love to have them live in kind of a more stylized world from now on. And I think that'll help a lot as far as what you're saying. Also, I just think it'll help with appeal. Like, I think the less we try to like make it look like they're real or in a real world, the easier it is to make them appealing and less likely for people to be like, what is that? What are they made of? Stardust? Yeah. Yeah, see, exactly. Questions like that. These are all questions I have to answer probably more than I would if I hadn't put them in like a real physical environment. So to answer your question, they are just imaginary. That's my best answer for you. That was always kind of the idea, is they're just like imaginary magic beings. They don't really, I didn't really want them to be aliens or anthropomorphized animals or people. But I don't know, maybe I've made a terrible mistake. What I should ask, like what would you say they are? What do you think? What do you think they are? Okay, I think if I turn the velocity down just a touch. Humanoid aliens made of magic but haven't found their magical powers yet. Oh, interesting. I like that. I like that because I'd love to have the episodes actually like explore them finding their powers and using their powers as like metaphors for things. But aliens is okay too. Like I wasn't going for aliens, but I recognize that probably like a lot of people would think they're aliens, and that's fine with me. I think that works. Yeah, aliens from the ship. I can see that. Okay, I think we're just about there. Do we have like a spin? There we go. Random. Just about there, maybe 100. Oh, well, thanks for asking. Doing well, yeah. Just went through a lot of figuring stuff out. I kind of talked it all over at the beginning of the stream, but like, talked it over to nobody in case anyone watches the replay, I guess. But yeah, it's been like a few weeks of just render nightmares and finally deciding that I need a better solution for rendering, and so I decided to just try the new version of Blender 3.5. Hold on, my neighbors are yelling. I'm gonna shut the window. There we go. They're happy yelling. They're having a party or something next door, I guess. But anyways, yeah, I thought, okay, I need to do something. And I was like trying to render the clouds in this other program called Omniverse, because I just couldn't get them to render in Blender fast enough or good enough to pass like quality. And that was a nightmare. It was just like it's a horrible program. Sorry if anyone who is working on that program sees this, but I hate it. It's like the worst thing I've ever used. I can't even like contain my rage at that program. I cannot recommend not using it enough. So yeah, I found this great tutorial on how to make this custom cloud shader in Blender, and it looks first of all, it looks better than the default like principal volume material. It looks more like a real cloud, and it renders like 5 times as fast, like less noise. And so between that and Blender 3.5 working for me to render in, yeah, it does, right? Oops. Let's see. Where was I? Where was that? There we go. Yeah, he did like research on like, these are photos of reference. Like he did research on how to get it all to work, and he like came up with all this math stuff. It was all way over my head, but I just followed his steps and recreated the shader. I don't know what any of it means, but it works. And it renders so much faster and noise-free, and now I can render everything in cycles, and it all just looks great. And I don't ever have to go in that horrible Omniverse program again. So, and in general, like Blender 3.5 renders way faster than 3.3. So this was all extremely helpful stuff. And so, yeah, it was like a couple weeks of hell, and then finally like the light at the end of the tunnel. So it's been a journey. It's been a journey. And I'm just really glad that things are working better now. And, you know, I figured out how much more work realistically it's going to have to be for me to finish this episode. And I'll probably have to stop and take a pretty big freelance job before that happens, because it's going to be too long and I'll run out of money. So I'll, at some point, probably near the end of next month, or middle of next month, because I have family coming in to visit before that. Sometime in early mid-May, I'm going to have to stop, and I'll probably be gone for a month or two. But then I'll get back to it, and it's going to happen, man. It's going to happen. So let's give this just a couple frames of pre-roll. And just a few more frames just in case. And let's bake it. And that should do it. So now we got our little grass explosion when they land. To address your earlier comment though, I was thinking the same thing originally, like, is it gonna seem like they get hurt? I did ask a few people, like, does this seem too violent? They said they thought it was fine, but I was still kind of nervous about it, and so I do have them like laughing the whole time, if that helps. So it's not like they're ever like, oh no! They're just like, oh my gosh. Yeah, the impact force on the characters. Well, they're landing on soft, fluffy grass, so hopefully that makes a difference. Maybe I should have had a big pile of pillows for them to land on. Yeah. I'm just gonna spend another minute on this because I'd like the grass to be in the air longer. Guess I just have to have it go further. I'm taking a break in May. Yeah, I have family coming to visit after the first week of May, so in a couple weeks. And then I may be starting a freelance job after that last 6 weeks. That's not booked yet. But if I don't get that, I need to take something else because, yeah, I haven't had a paycheck since November, so... As a freelancer, you know, they say keep 6 months in savings, and that's about what I had. And that'll be gone by the end of May, pretty much. I did get a decent tax return because I made like no money last year, so, you know, that helped. That did help. You forgot to do your taxes. Oh, are you in the US? Canada. Oh, okay. I don't know what the tax situation is like up there, but here that would be very bad. Oh, end of April. Oh, okay. You're good. So you're not late. Here we had April 18th was the deadline. That might be better. Let's try that. As long as you don't owe, you don't have to worry as much. Yeah, that's the same here. I think there's like a small penalty if you don't file on time, but mostly it's just like interest on what you owe. Okay, I think this is going to be better. Just turn the gravity up to full speed. And add more of them. It's exactly the same. I guess because I turned gravity up. Alright, I'll turn gravity back down. There we go. Okay. I just wanted them to be on screen a little longer than 1 second. Or they weren't even on a whole second before, so now they're on for a little over. I think? Maybe? No, they're still not. Oh well, you know what? Screw it. Guess it'll just be a subtle detail. Sorry, I'm just like saying I'm gonna move on, but then I'm not moving on. I realize that's what I'm doing. I just feel like I'm so close, you know? Right on the edge of getting it right. It's part of my processing. It is. This is something I do a lot. Okay. Yeah, now it's 10:37 and they're still in the air. But it's kind of like way too huge now, so let's turn it down even more. I guess to your point of it being like a huge impact, this probably isn't even helping that. So maybe smaller is better, huh? Yeah, smaller is better. Okay, now they're up a little longer than a second. They don't explode quite so much. Yeah, okay. I think this will be good. Cool, so moving on, for real. Can I rename this? In case I decide to reuse it later. So now the next step is to bring in all of the stuff I have already set up for the other shots, because that'll save a ton of work. Basically, you know, I made this HDRI, this custom HDRI for the opening scene. It's got like some distant landscape, and it's got these, let's see if you can see it. All these clouds back here that aren't moving, like these are actually part of the HDRI, they're rendered in. So I'll bring that in, and I'll bring the world shader and the world lighting and everything. That's all stuff I don't have to redo. And even the compositing tree. So yeah. Gonna append. These are both going to come in. One is the world that lights the scene, and the other one is the world that actually shows up in the render. They're two different worlds. And the other thing I'm doing is I'm putting the sun in its own collection, so I can easily link it into all the other scenes we're about to have. Also gonna append in a fill light that I'm using in all the other shots. Do you have a certain animation show or artist that inspires you to animation or your work? Man, I feel like these days there's just so much good stuff everywhere you look. It's hard to even pick one thing. It used to be Pixar, like that was always #1 for me in the past. Now it's just like, you know, whatever. Good feature animation is good feature animation. There's so much of it now. As far as like individual animators, I've always loved Syriac, Felix Colgrave. Those two are some of my favorites. And they both do really kind of dark, weird, twisted stuff. So I guess if any of that is showing up in my work, that's probably why. I'm not trying to do a dark, twisted thing here, but I feel like it ends up kind of having a little bit of that in it. Oh, well, that's cool. Thanks. I like your animation. It has certain... Don't see it in the normal animation. Well, thank you. Yeah, I'll take it. I think, you know, it's not for everybody, but people who want something different will be drawn to it, probably. So I'm just double checking my settings here before I duplicate this scene a bunch of times. Yeah, I think we're good. Oh, right, I'm gonna set the world. So this is gonna be this. Trying to think of other animation groups or people that I really have been into lately. I don't know. Not much else is coming to mind, I guess. I really love all the stuff the Blender Studio does. I think maybe it's part of the reason I decided to do this in Blender was because of all the great stuff they've done. Oh, and what's this dude's name? One of the most underrated CG artists, I think. Like, the guy, I think probably because he only uploads something like once every 2 years, but everything he puts up is amazing. I'm trying to think. Was it... Let's do it here. String Theory? I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head. String Theory Animation. Yeah, Chris Jones. This thing, if you want to just go on a journey, watch this video. I'll put the link in the chat. I highly recommend that. And that thing, like, he spent, I think, like 7 years on it or something crazy like that. And it only has, it doesn't even have 1 million views. This thing should have like 80 million views in my opinion. It's so crazy and good. Yeah. And he did it all in Lightwave. Who even uses Lightwave anymore? Anyways, he also uses Blender now too. Okay. Do this, I'll rename this one too. Fake users on these. Okay, so this is my foreground scene. So this is going to be the characters and the ship and, you know, all that. And then I'm going to duplicate this scene, or I'm going to create a new scene with the same settings, but not a duplicate. And this one's going to be for the background clouds. And I'm going to make another copy, another new scene. And this one's going to be for the background plate. And into this, I will copy the lights, the sun, the camera will get linked into both of these. Actually, scratch that. Just the camera into this one. And into the cloud scene, I also copy this. And the setup's a lot more complicated in some of the other shots, but that should be all we need for this one. And in this scene, we'll use the BG world, which is just the HDRI. Render it in Eevee. turn on motion blur. This is going to be a bit of experiment. Oh, this is the other thing is while I was gone, I was able to optimize some Blender settings so that it renders just way faster anyway. I had my settings wrong. It's a long story, but anyways, short version is now my GPUs get way more utilized while I'm rendering, so this may actually like interfere with the stream. So it's a little experimental. If things get laggy, then I apologize. There we go. Okay. So this is going to be our background plate. Looks like my camera shake was just positioned so we don't see it in the background. But that's basically ready to go. Now the cloud scene. Is just going to be this, basically. And I'm going to bring in that cloud shader that I was talking about earlier, that the tutorial dude gave us, which was so nice. And it seems as if I have to localize all these for the material to stay on them. Well, anyways, so yeah, these now, okay, yeah, the volumes have to be made local. I don't know why, but it just doesn't work if I don't do this part. Here it is. Cool. Okay. So yeah, this shader that the dude gave the tutorial on is just this group right here, and it's super simple. There's just some crazy nodes in here that do like the light path stuff and the density and some math and this volume scatter thing, and that's it. I don't know how it all works, but yeah, like I said, I just followed along. He outlines all the steps in that tutorial. Oh yeah, I should link that one in here too. I should have done that at the beginning. I meant to do that. Maybe I'll remember to put it in the video description. I can't even paint clouds. They're tricky. They're really tricky. This was an accident opening this blender. Yeah, so anyways. Okay, so now these should all have the right cloud on them. Can use the light tree thing. Set all these samples to 2. Set volume samples to 8. Leave transparent samples where they are. Turn these off. Leave that on. That should do it. Save. And there we go. How's that on the stream? Looks like it's not lagging. My mouse is still moving smoothly. Cool. Not lagging, good. So we'll have these 3D clouds in the background. I think I was using 300 samples on the last shot, so I'll try that. Take a look at it, see how noisy that is with 300 samples. Oh, but yeah, I was just thinking when you're talking about it being hard to do clouds. You know, a great art book that I love was James Gurney. He has a couple of them, but he has one that's all just about color and light, called Color and Light. And I thought it was really, really good. It was really helpful in like all kinds of great tricks and tips to getting realistic lighting. So that's another recommended one. Yeah, he did Dinotopia. You're getting educated again. I hope in a good way. $300 I think is maybe not necessary. We're at 98 samples and it already looks pretty clean. I might do 180. Definitely a good way. I like to learn. I'm a geek. Nerd. Me too. Okay, I'm gonna do 180 samples. That should be enough. Let's screw it, maybe 200, just to be sure. I don't want another overnight render that comes out too noisy. Okay, so this one's ready, this layer is ready as well, and then the last one, and the most important, is the foreground. No clouds in this one. Well, cool. I'm glad you like it, and if I think of any other good ones, I'll mention it. Have you seen? Oh, you got to go. Wanted to pop by. Hope you have a wonderful day and smooth process. Thank you very much, and I'm so glad you stopped by. It's great to see you again, and I'm really glad you're feeling better. Yay! Congratulations. Life is good again. Enjoy your workout. Happy spring. Hope it's spring-like up there for you in Canada. Oh, I was gonna ask if you've seen Ray. I haven't seen her in a long time. Oh, she streams on Sundays. Okay. Cool. Oh, good. I didn't know she was not doing better, but I'm glad she is doing better. Well, tell her I say hi if you see her before I do. And yeah, enjoy that. Oh, she took a break. Good for her. Oh yeah. Hearts to you both. Enjoy the workout, enjoy the good health replenishment. I'm gonna enjoy these loading render kernels. May take a few minutes. I updated the shaders on the ship, so this might be why this is happening. Yep, there it goes. I got a comment from my little cousin because I had a lot of like, there's this plaster material I was using on these buildings here, and it was like kind of a degraded paint material, and my little cousin's comment was, they look dirty. So I was like, okay, I'll dial it back a bit. So I tried to freshen up the paint on the buildings a little bit. They're not as messy as they were. So here we go. We can work on lighting now. So this is the same light setup that's in the previous couple shots. So leaving it as is would be consistent. I do think I'll just do some a little bit modifications, maybe to the fill light. pretty strong. I might have to turn off the shadows. I think in general, just like maybe another fill for some like bounce light off the ground. So I'll kind of dial this one in like that. This one will color a little greenish to kind of simulate the grass. Any reason? Hi Rick, if I'm saying your name right, and welcome. And using cycles over Eevee. Yeah, I think that I was originally planning on using Eevee, and maybe it was a bad idea, but I did a test render of the scene with cycles and I was like, oh my god, it looks so much better. And I got spoiled and I was like, okay, I have to do this in cycles. It just looks too good compared to Eevee, I mean. So that's why. But I have high hopes for the next iteration of Eevee because I would love to be able to render it in Eevee, yeah. Okay, so that is probably a good amount of fill light. I'm gonna increase the sun intensity a little bit. And maybe soften the shadows a little bit more. Yeah, I think that'll work. So the next trick is the eye shader. So I have some custom things hooked up to help brighten up the dark eyes with the dark shadows on them. Where am I? Let's see. Yep. So I think I've been setting him. Well, it goes a long way with this one. And I think I have to set overrides on the eyes too. I am in the habit of turning off cycles while I do this stuff because it can crash sometimes. Rick, are you a Blender artist as well? Animation, CG? Okay, these should work now. Yep. So I can dial this all the way to no shading on the eyes, which looks super weird, but if I ever needed it for some reason I could. And then I just go in and I pick what looks about right. Just enough to get rid of the shadows, and then I usually dial the glossiness down to like 0.1. Eyes are maybe a little overdone. I'll just leave them at 0.9. Blender for comic book art, no animation. Artist might be a stretch, amateur at best. Aw. Well, you've got the bug, and that's what matters. That's really cool, doing it for comic book art. That's a cool idea. Do you use it like as a tool to like block in your stuff and then go over it with pen, or do you just like add CG elements to your comic? My cast looks so much fun. What are they all about? Oh, thank you. It is a show. Well, the dream is that it's a show. Right now I'm just on the first episode, but it's going to be a show. It's like short animated episodes where these characters are kind of like just magic imaginary beings, and they just fly around on this big magic ship and they have adventures and they kind of learn things about life and stuff. It's kind of like, I guess, semi-educational, but it's not going to be like typical education topics. It's going to be a little more just about life and happiness, I guess. Kind of the core mission of the project is to help young people feel like, you know, the world can be better and their dreams are going to happen and all that good stuff. I guess I need to work on my elevator pitch. Blender for all the characters and art assets, all coloring and inking in Blender. Oh, Adobe products to build the comic panels and lettering. Oh, neat. Well, it sounds really cool. If you feel like sharing it at some point, then I'd love to see it. And otherwise, I wish you the best of luck on it. It sounds like a lot of fun. There we go. This eye dot's kind of messed up. I might have to fix that, but otherwise I think we're pretty much there for the foreground lighting. I'll show you a oh, actually I do also want to check this like particle grass I've got in here. See how that's working. But yeah, I can show you some of the rendered shots so you can get a sense of things. Oh yeah, I'm glad I checked. They're totally in the dark for this first part. They kind of come into the light. I might put a fake extra key light in here to kind of get rid of the building shadow on them here. But anyway, the grass I think is working fine. And the as for the rendered shots, so this will be the opening shot of the episode. So this is the ship that they're on. It's kind of this magic ship, and there's a bunch of characters, and they're doing their cloud surfing thing. So that's kind of the gist of it. That's the establishing scene, and that's kind of what it's gonna look like. Wow. Yay. I'm glad you think wow. Cool. That's good. That's encouraging. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was. That's why I picked cycles, because I was like, oh my god. To get back to your original question, can't do renders like that in Eevee yet. I wish you could, but you just can't do it yet. Let me do an area light here. It's mind-boggling that I did that in Blender. Oh, it took a very long time. If you knew how long I took, then you probably you wouldn't be as surprised. But thank you. And yes, I did. I did write this stuff. It's actually the part I'm least happy with is the actual script. I'm really excited about the idea and the outline and everything, but the actual dialogue is definitely like, I hope to work with a real writer eventually, and I think that'll be a good thing. Okay, so there's kind of some fake sunlight so that the shot isn't just starting in the dark. And yeah, I don't think it hurts things much. Try to get it off the ground a little bit, maybe. Maybe add a shadow caster. Yeah, good dialogue that moves the plot forward and doesn't sound cringy is always tough. Yeah, very. And I wish I could say I cracked the code, but I do feel like I have not. But yeah. It's definitely, in my opinion, there's definitely some cringe factor going on. But what can you do? Hopefully episode 2 will be less cringy, dialogue-wise. Do I have a favorite character? Maybe. I don't know yet, because I haven't done a whole lot with them yet, so it's still kind of early. But I think that the one I'm excited, these two actually aren't going to be as featured in the trailer, even though this episode is mostly featuring them. I thought it'd be fun for the trailer to have kind of the more social media oriented character, which would be, let's see if I can bring it up here. This one, this pink one here, if you can see, it's kind of small. This is the main cast anyway. But anyway, this pink one is like, this is Cleo. It's kind of the social media validation seeking one. And I just feel like that's relatable for all of us for one thing. But also I had an idea for Cleo for the second episode, which I think I'll introduce Cleo in the second episode, and there's been some bullying and stuff, and I think it'll just be really relatable and genuine and heartfelt, but also entertaining because Cleo's kind of like a silly character because of the narcissism. So I think so far that's kind of what I'm thinking. But it could change. Okay. Okay, so I got my shadow caster. I need to do that. Oh. Never mind. Gotta fix this little light bit back here. I don't know if it'll show up, but it's still good. Cool. Okay. All right, so got some light on our characters at the beginning. Okay, so this shot is basically lit. I think the last step for this whole thing is to bring the actual grass in that they are landing on. So yeah, I'm gonna save up a version in case that breaks something. Okay. Yeah, do that too. Don't want to lose the progress. Yeah, I save so many backups. Did I create the rigs myself? No, yeah, I used Auto Rig Pro, and I used FaceIt for the face. So each character actually uses 3 armatures. There's 2 of them come from FaceIt and 1 comes from the body. So yeah, the bodies are rigged with Auto Rig Pro, and then the face is rigged with FaceIt, and then FaceIt generates this second control rig that allows you to use, like, in addition to just like the bone controllers, it's got these like sliders on it and stuff. These are all part of the control rig. These arrows and things like these actually are linked up to blend shapes or shape keys. So this is a bit of a test here. I want to see how completely engulfed in the grass they are. If it's too bad, I might have to raise them up in the anim file a little bit. And I'll have to do a full render for that, for the grass to show up. How about you? Do you use to use any rigging tricks. Even using those, it was still, I think it took me like 6 months pretty much of work to get these characters ready. I mean, I can't even imagine how long it would have been if I hadn't used those. A year? Mainly just that there's 7 of them. I tried Auto Rig Pro and Rigify and I couldn't get them to work right. I realized since it was just comic work that I could build my own really simple rig to accomplish my goals. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, if you're not doing animation, all you really need to do is pose the character, right? And then you can always apply it and do some sculpting to clean it up if you need to. Yeah, it gets like 100,000 times more complex when you're animating them. Oh god. I'm having like PTSD flashbacks from the rigging war with these characters. Man, these render kernels, I'm telling you. It only takes this long once and then it'll be faster. There it goes. All right. All right. Oh, yeah. They're buried. Those flowers might be an issue. Am I using 3.5 or 3.6? I am rendering in 3.5. I'm doing everything else in, and that's just a new development just in the last few days. I'm still doing everything else in 3.3 LTS because this is such a complex situation. Like the whole what am I saying? Like the pipeline, it's just nuts. So yeah, but I was having so much render problems in 3.3 that I finally was just like, okay, I'll try rendering in 3.5, see if it'll open my scenes. And I kind of wasn't really expecting it to work, but it actually did. So I'm rendering in 3.5, which is a huge help. It's rendering way faster using the like light tree thing. Oh, I forgot to turn that on, by the way. But yeah, using the light tree thing makes a huge difference. Man, those flowers are just like in exactly the wrong spot. Wonder what I can do about that. I wonder if I can just like bake the flowers. Save first. My God. Oh my God. I'm using this scatter add-on to make this lawn and stuff, and oh my Lord. Need a rework. Oh my God. Well. Yeah, the white flowers by the blue face, and there's some flowers like sticking through the surfboards and stuff. Yeah. I'm gonna try a realize instances. Oh, but you know what? It's gonna be it's probably just gonna give me like the proxies. We'll try it. Just hit apply and see what happens. Nope, doesn't work. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna have to create a second version of this thing. I think. Realize instances. This is what I want. But they're not there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to just make like a second version where it's editable. So that's gonna be complicated. I think that's gonna be something I'm gonna have to do off stream because that'll be a lot of fumbling around, I think. So for now, instead, I'm gonna go ahead and bring in the comp. And I'll just comp it like this. I think I'll use the comp from this shot. This is shot 30. Do I have voice actors? I'm doing a couple of the voices myself. I have a couple other voice actors for some of the other characters, yeah. And some of the characters I haven't even settled on the voices yet because they're not even in the first episode or the trailer. The dream would be for these two to be voiced by kids, because they're supposed to kind of be kid age, but I don't have really the means to work with kid actors at this point. So I'm doing the voice of this one. And I just pitched it up and tried to, change my voice a bit. There's a lot of pitch shifting. Let's see. Here we go. Comp. So I'm gonna go over to the compositing thingy. Let's see, what frame is this? 1066. And 1001 to 1243. So I'm going over that comp scene that I just imported. So this is like a pre-existing like comp setup that I've been using for the other shots. Oh yeah, I got a couple of things got to change real quick. Gotta add some render passes here. Crypto mat. Oh, I can't have this gobo in here. Gotta fix that. Okay, so those are all my render layers all set up. Now I can go in here. And this is the layer for the ship cloud, and we're not going to use that, so I'll just mute all these. as well just delete them. And I think all this Cryptomad stuff is all based off the ship too, so we can get rid of all these. Yep. And then this is for the sky and the clouds down here. So what I really can't wait for is to be able to use the real-time compositor on this stuff. Okay, so then I pre-render these passes. Did I learn Blender all myself? Works cool. Blender is self-taught, yeah. What a journey it's been. But this is my... This is my 5th 3D package in 20 years, so I guess it was easier in that sense than if I had not learned those other ones. Maybe that just made it harder. It's so different than the other ones. So what did I start with? Well, when I went to art school, we all used 3D Studio Max. That was the package that they were just teaching us everything in, so we didn't really get a choice. And then started learning Maya at the end, and then, you know, as I learned that all the animation studios were using Maya, I tried to teach myself Maya, but I wasn't in school anymore, so I was kind of on my own, and I spent like 2 years trying to learn it and hated every second of it, and finally just stopped. And a coworker of mine at the time was like, hey, you should try out this Cinema 4D program. And at the time it was like really not like, almost nobody used it. It was so small. I think they were on like version 8 or something. And but we tried it, and I was like immediately converted within like an hour. I could already like work easier in like 2 hours than it took me like 2 years for Maya. So I used that for a really long time. And then a few years ago I started learning Houdini, and that was fun. And then Blender most recently. I was hoping that story would last through the end of this pre-render, but it's still going. It's a lot of clouds, so I guess it's taking a while. How about you? Did you use anything before Blender, or is Blender your first? Blender only and starting with 2.8 when the GUI changes so the menus were at the top of the panel. Yeah. Yeah. Same. Exactly the same story. Well, except that I didn't start at 2.8 because I still wasn't satisfied. Plus, I was just busy freelancing a lot and I just didn't have time to dive into it. But I tried at 2.8 because I was like, oh yeah, the UI is so much better now. But I still couldn't get into it. It took me until I think 3.0. That's when I finally started using it. Okay, so we got our pre-renders, and I kind of went a little aggressive on the fill light in this shot, so I think I need to darken everything. And I'm going to do a crypto matte pass to darken this patch of the ship deck here because it's really a bit distracting. Is this going to work? It's weird. Crypto map picker doesn't seem to be working. Maybe it doesn't work off the render layers so much. But what I can do is just enter the name in, I think. It's that. I wonder if it has to be an actual image for it to work. Either that or I'm just doing it wrong. All right, well, I'll try an EXR and see how that works. There we go. Yeah, maybe it just doesn't work in the viewport. I know it works during the render. Anyways, so I'm going to do a exposure. Yeah, just enough to kind of make it not steal the scene so much. And then I'm also going to do overall kind of contrast on this thing. Do something like that. Yeah, it's a little dark. Yeah. And then I kind of have my overall everything saturation boost. I think it's maybe worth it to add a little more fill light to Amp's face there. Oh, yay, thank you. That's what I'm going for. I really I like the bright colors. I got this monitor that's I found a good deal on a 10-bit monitor. It is not, I wouldn't recommend it, so I'm not going to say which one it is because it's not lasting. Like, it's got a line of dead pixels and it's out of warranty, so. But as far as 10-bit monitors go, it was a really low price because those are usually incredibly expensive. And but everything is so saturated. Like, all the colors are twice as bright on this monitor and colorful as they are like on any other normal monitor, which is crazy. Like I didn't even know you could do that, but I guess I've been working on it for years now, and I've gotten used to all these colors being so vivid all the time. And so then I look at everything I make on other monitors, and everything is really dull. So I have to remember to boost the colors like extra bright, so it'll just look normal on other monitors. But so anyways, for this project, I thought I should make it as colorful on normal monitors as it is on mine, like normally. So anyways, on my screen, the colors are just like ridiculous. But like on a normal screen, they look like you're seeing them. Yeah, so I'm going to add a little fill light to Amp's base here, I think. See if I can get away with it. But otherwise, I'm happy with the lighting and comp. I'm basically just reusing the lighting and comp from the other shots I've already done, so it's nice to be able to reuse that work. Yeah. And then off stream, I'll go ahead and I'll fix up this lawn system. I'll probably raise both the characters up a tiny bit so they're not quite so buried in the grass. And then also take care of these flowers. And also, oops, what am I doing? There we go. This one poking through the surfboard, and all this grass poking through this surfboard. It's pretty, to me, that's pretty noticeable. So I'll take care of those, but that'll be off stream because that might take me a while and be pretty boring. So yeah, let's just drop one more fill light. Kind of right here. Gotta make sure nothing moves through it either, because that'll show up. I was chatting with a 2D artist this morning who uses Blender to rough out shapes before drawing. We both mentioned the ability to reuse your setup in Blender and how it's not available with Photoshop or a drawing program. Yes, yeah. That's probably my favorite part about Blender, I think, so far, is the fact that everything is like a data block you can just grab out of one file and put in another, and that you can choose whether it's linked or just a copy. It's really nice. Yeah, and it is saving me a lot of time on this project for sure. Perfect. Okay, so that's nothing. And just enough to kind of fill in that dark face shadow, maybe a little bit less. I have found at this point that the less detail I have on these characters' faces, the better. Like, it's almost fine for them to be totally flat-faced, in my opinion. And just have, like, graphic silhouette. Just make sure nothing like moves through it in a really crazy, obnoxious, noticeable way. Yeah, I think we're good. So yeah, the other thing I'm going to have to do, I think, is correct these eye dots. They're a little bit, whatever setting I used on them is a little wacky, and they're kind of like floating around and changing position in a way that I'm not happy with. It shouldn't take long, but that's... Oh, and then this part where they get possessed by demons, that has to get taken care of too. Oh, goodness. But yeah, let's run one more preview image of that. Maybe let's do 1200. Loading. The other thing about these flowers is that the characters are really like tumbling over all of them. It'll be really noticeable that the characters are not affecting them. So I might get rid of all of the flowers here in their path and you know, maybe just have some flowers around here and here, but they don't actually move through any of them at all, because there's no interaction with the grass and the characters at all. So yeah. Oh, and I just realized I forgot. There's a plant. I have to turn on the plants. So that's going to change the look of things a little bit. Uh-huh. Thought it felt kind of empty. Okay. So one more of these. Hey, that's nice. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I'm happier with the coloring on Amp's face there. Gonna go ahead and fix the eye dots. Still kind of a dark shadow on this eye. I might see if I can brighten up this eye a little bit in the crypto matte. Yeah, there's a couple more little tweaks I'm gonna do off stream before I render, but it should be able to render it overnight tonight. And yeah, that will close this little gap here, and we will have the entire first minute and 10 seconds or so. The entire first minute and 10 seconds of the episode will be done the next time you see me. So exciting times. And then there's just all this to do. That's okay. This stuff will mostly go faster because it's mostly just talking and stuff. So that's it for me for the day. It was nice to be back. And it was nice to meet you, Rick. Thanks for staying and hanging out and chatting. If I may call you Rick, by the way. And to anybody else who may watch this replay, yes, please. Cool. Yeah, and thank you. Yeah, hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and see y'all next time. Thanks for watching.